I wouldn't have been the one to be like, I quit because I can't feel my toes. Girl, bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year. I know maybe it's a little late to say Happy New Year, but you know I'm Nigerian. Nigerians say Happy New Year all year round. So happy to be back with you. I'm sorry I've been gone so long. I think it's been almost 2 weeks, y'all. It has been a hectic couple of weeks, but I am back. We're back to a regularly scheduled programming, and actually today, as promised, now y'all know I hadn't been recapping the All-Star season, right? Because it was just a lot going on, and I didn't have time to really like watch on time both the All-Star season and Spies, Lies, and Allies. But y'all, I binged and I have seen the finale. I know who the winner is. Well, congratulations. First of all, congratulations to the winner. I'm so happy. I'm happy for them both, but I'm really happy for her. If you know, you know. Y'all, can I just say, first of all, for the All-Stars, the soundtrack is, I mean, unmatched. Okay, the soundtrack is great. It's very much nostalgia. It's like the best of like 90s, not just R&B, but hip hop, but pop. It's very much nostalgia. Like, it's giving all the 90s, 2000s feel. Like, I loved it. It's great. Every time, the soundtrack is amazing. I mean, I already kind of knew this because I watched season 1, but All Stars is like, I'm sorry, it really is better than like the main season, because the main season, like, oh, the best part of the shows were like seeing these people who you had seen on Real World come onto the challenge and they compete, and then they develop storylines over time and they have these connections and whatever, right? On this main season, I'm like, they had so many new people, which was great for a lot of reasons, but also like I don't really have an attachment to these people, and also they're kind of annoying, and a lot of them aren't even from like the Real World or Road Rules anything. So it's just like, I'm not that invested in a lot of these people, and a lot of them are dumb, aka Big Brother. The shade starts already. But we're good, right? But All Stars, it's like, I know all these people. I remember like their backstories and their little connections with each other. And even if I didn't at first, like, they remind you, like, it was great. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to my new subscribers. We did hit another milestone. I'm so excited. Please do share this video, like it, comment, and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the post notification bell so you'll be notified every time that I post a new video. I'm gonna be doing some more reaction videos on challenge content, and I'm also gonna bring back my show Really Uncomfortable, the series. We are gonna have a challenge section in there where we tackle some topics that may have been something that may have been said or blurted out on an episode, and we're gonna try to like dig deep into it and really like dissect it a little bit. Like, that is the segment that I'm gonna start. Okay, so just stay tuned for all of that, you guys. Okay, let's get into this recap. So remember, last episode they had the elimination where it was Darrell and Janelle. Child, remember, Janelle almost wanted to quit because that back of hers just did not want to do what it's supposed to do, but she, you know, sucked it up and gave it her all and continued. And it was Darrell and Janelle versus Brad and, is it Lori? Brad and Lori, I think it is. And it was really close. All in all, Darrell and Janelle won. The 4 teams that are in the final are Ayanna and Tech. Y'all, we're gonna get into Ayanna, child. Darrell and Janelle, Nehemiah and Melinda, and MJ and Jonna. TJ announces that the final starts right then. So TJ basically explains that this is going to challenge you in ways that you cannot explain. The whole spiel about this is going to be the worst day of your life, basically. Especially if you don't win, right? So essentially he says that the final has 2 phases, right? And you have to finish both phases in order to win. The first phase has 3 checkpoints. You can do whichever checkpoint you want to do. Once you finish each checkpoint, you'll get a medalla, I think that's what he calls it. And you have to, basically, it finishes this puzzle of a horn. And you have to get 3 pieces. Once you get the 3 pieces, you can move on to phase 2, right? But the 4 teams aren't going to advance to phase 2. If you end up being the last team, you will not make it to phase 2. Phase 2 is for the 3 teams, right? So y'all, he says, but first, before we get into that, y'all are going to go and sleep and be uncomfortable and be disturbed and be bothered, right? Like, very impressively, like, you know, the girls girls, the women, take it upon themselves like, hey, you know what, we're gonna be the first ones to stay up. Janella's like, I've been up with babies. I had both my twins in NICU, my kids in NICU or whatever. This ain't nothing, right? This is light work. And I'm like, period, sis, because the sleepless nights, like, we know what it is. Like, I could probably absolutely do like 12 hours easily. Of course, the guys come and change out and they go back and forth, right? So TJ finally comes. So he basically brings them the clothes that they're going to change into to get ready for the final, right? So he throws it to Darrell to pass it out to them. What they have to do is that they have to follow a trail to a nucleus, right? So there's a nucleus that has the 3 different checkpoints at it. They have to first make it to that nucleus so that they can even know how to get started on the checkpoints. So in order for them to get to the nucleus, they have to follow some black arrows, y'all. So out the gate, Nehemiah and Melinda, y'all, and this is what I always say, if you're on a challenge and they say follow some black arrows, find the damn black arrows, because every time y'all be talking, Melinda gonna say, okay, I don't see no black arrows, but I see some blue arrows. Let's just go with the blue arrows. Girl, no, black is never gonna be blue arrows. A long rectangle is not a square. Like, it's just like... Shout out to Nelson, okay? So basically, Nehemiah and Melinda off in the wilderness with their blue arrows, y'all. Ayanna and Tech find the nucleus first. They're in first place, right? So they get to their first checkpoint, and their first checkpoint that they choose is a checkpoint where they basically have to go and get puzzle pieces on a bicycle, 2 bicycles that are attached to each other, and they have to bring back a puzzle piece each. Well, I guess they could bring back more, but I think they can only carry 1 each. So you have to bring back the puzzle pieces and assemble this puzzle, and once they do that, they finish that checkpoint, right? And I personally feel like Ayanna's plight in this final was her karma for being like, I don't want to say a dirty, well, yeah, a dirty player. Like, I didn't like how she did, oh girl, I can't remember her name now, sure. Once I find her name, I'll put it here. Y'all know who I'm talking about, how she did her, because, okay, yes, she had a little bit of an emotional moment and she was a little bit triggered, but she really dragged it and ended up getting her sent home. And I just feel like generally Ayanna's just like, it's just so, like, now I remember some of y'all mentioned like, oh girl, you forgot to put Ayanna on the list of like your favorite black challenges. And I remember it's because she wasn't. Ayanna was a lot. Even back then, I slept in my uniform because I wanted to win the tag. Like, not necessarily that specific moment, but Ayanna was always a lot. She was always very like, you know, up and down, very much unstable personality wise. So I remember now why she used to get on my damn nerves. Like, she is a beast. Like, she really did her damn thing on this season. Like, she really showed and proved that she was a force to be reckoned with. What she did, oh my god, these people's names, child, I ain't seen them in a while, but basically with the challenger, she hadn't been there in a while, and you know, she just really couldn't get it done where they had to pull that thing, and it was so easy for Ayanna, and Ayanna basically like murdered it, but she still helped her get it done so that she could feel that accomplishment. That was a beautiful moment. It was amazing. Everyone's a mixed bag. People have good and bad inside of them. And I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but I just feel like she be letting her like petty, like just like lower self take over sometimes. And it's just like, girl. And I think it's like for entertainment purposes. Like, I don't know. I say all that to say I feel like her plight in the final was because of the way that she did other people at certain points, right? Tech and Ayanna are going back and forth. Darrell and Janelle finally gets to the nucleus. So basically, Darrell and Janelle pick the same checkpoint that Ayanna and Tech pick, where you have to get the puzzle pieces and then assemble the puzzle while you're riding the bikes that are attached to each other, right? Y'all, Nehemiah and Melinda still lost in the wilderness. So then Jonna and MJ finally get to the nucleus, right? To figure out what checkpoint that they want to do. So the checkpoint that they select, decode, where basically you have to go into the cave where Melinda and Nehemiah are lost at. Like, follow directions, y'all, come on. Okay, I'm not saying my ass wouldn't get lost either, but I'm just saying they have to decode or memorize these different symbols and then bring it back, use that to basically figure out what phrase they're trying to get at on this wheel, right? They have to, like, they're doing it. Y'all, Ayanna on some petty stuff. So Ayanna and Tech are going back and forth. Ayanna knocking them out the way on the bike, like, hello. And Darrell like, Ayanna over here out for guerrilla warfare, but it's all good. It's whatever. Ain't nobody stunned her, right? And then when Darrell and Janelle are trying to get back and Ayanna and Tech over there just trucking along in a little way, Darrell is like, can y'all get out the way? And Ayanna's like, nope, I love you though. Like, I can't get out the way. You want to get past me? You got to earn it. Girl, gonna talk all of this mess. You got to earn. ma'am. Like, she was playing dirty. Darrell is like, oh, for real, because I let you get by over there. All right, that's how we plan. Okay, when I run your ass over then, you know, don't say nothing. Like, lightly, lightheartedly, he's kind of saying it. But you can also tell he's very annoyed. She's just so, intense is the word. So intense. Like, Ayanna, girl. I think she's actually really funny too, but she's like very intense. So then Nehemiah and Melinda finally get to the nucleus, y'all. Child, they been in the wilderness. So they finally get to the nucleus, right? So basically they select the checkpoint where they have to match up the symbols. So they have to look at the symbols and then go back and then match them up at the same color, the same whatever as what they see at the memory thing. They're going back and forth. They have to keep going back and forth because it's one of those flip matches. So you have to flip it, and if you flip the wrong one, then you have to go back and figure out the rest of it. So y'all, they are going back and forth. Basically, Jonna and MJ and Nehemiah and Melinda have the same checkpoint at this point, and Darrell and Janelle and Ayanna and Tech have the same checkpoint at this point, right? So they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get it done. You know, Nehemiah's talking about how much he loves Melinda, and he gets to do this with her because they started their real world season in Austin together, and that he's really proud to be able to run it with her, and also that he's doing this for his family and his friends back home that support him, you know, all the good stuff, right? And Melinda's like, she's just pushing for women that have been through some type of adversity, basically, to keep pushing, don't stop, keep going, right? MJ and Jonna actually have the checkpoint where they have to figure out the symbol and match it up so that they can get the phrase, right? So they get through that checkpoint and they finally get that done. So they hit the first checkpoint and they get it done. So then they're on to their second checkpoint. The second checkpoint that they choose is the matching check. So basically they're getting through the checkpoint. So it gets to be Jonna and MJ. They finished their first checkpoint. They finished their second checkpoint. So now they're on the last checkpoint. And the last checkpoint is actually the matching checkpoint. So then Nehemiah and Melinda are get through their first checkpoint, their second checkpoint. They're on their last checkpoint, which is the puzzle checkpoint. Same with Darrell and Janelle. Melinda almost twists her ankle when she falls and twists her ankle, but she keeps pushing through, right? And Nehemiah's just trying to stay calm so she won't quit, child. So then, y'all, Ayanna and Tech, they're almost done. They haven't finished this first checkpoint. This first checkpoint is this puzzle checkpoint. And Ayanna is crying, talking about she about to pass out. Mrs. If you want to get past me, you're going to have to work for it. Girl, are you working for it? Because she kept talking about she was going to quit. I'm going to quit. I can't take it. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't handle it. Can't do it, right? So, y'all, they finally finished the checkpoint, right? So then they get to their second checkpoint, which is the matching puzzles checkpoint. First of all, Ayanna gets in there and she's like low-key defeated in the way that she's talking, so this kind of frustrates Tech. Because Tech is like, oh, you know, we can memorize it, we can write it down. She's like, no, you can't write it down, it's against the rules, Tech. So she's just basically tired and wants to give up and is being snippy. And so because of that, Tech gets petty, and then he decides that, okay, I'm just gonna let you handle it, right? Which now looking back on it, that was kind of his fault too, because if he would have put in as much effort as her at that time, then she might have been motivated to keep going, or she would have been less tired potentially, or I don't know, maybe, right? I'm just thinking about that now. I'm like, that was probably why she was like, man, I'm quitting, like, whatever. They go back and forth between checkpoints, and it gets really, really, really close. And Jonna and MJ, Jonna is getting frustrated because she keeps having to go back and forth for this matching puzzle, this memory puzzle thing, y'all. But Ayanna, guess what Ayanna does, y'all? Ayanna just slept in her uniform because she wanted to win a day. Ayanna quits, like. And granted, TJ was, I don't know why he was so soft on her. Maybe because they're all-stars and he's like, I know these people with families and stuff, like, do not want to be guilt tripped like that. And maybe because she fought so hard throughout the season. But my thing is like, girl, I just don't like quitters. Like, I know I personally do get kind of annoyed when TJ be calling people quitters, even if they're like really, really trying. Like, I used to get annoyed back in the day. But now it's just like, especially in that instance, it was like, girl, you could have kept going. Like, I just feel like, unless you are medically, I'm not saying kill yourself, right? But like, unless you're medically unfit in a final, like, you might as well go all out. You might as well leave it all out there. Like, especially as much junk as you talk, as much shit as you talk, as much obstruction as you did for other people's game, then you just go quit? Oh, that's whack. I just felt like she was so whack for that. I still feel like she whack for that. I don't think she's like a weak competitor. I'm not gonna put all that on it. But I just know I don't give a damn if I was like, I would have had to pass out. They would have had to tell me, okay, I think you're done, right? I wouldn't have been the one to be like, I quit because I can't feel my toes. Girl, Bye. So anyway, Ayanna quits, so Tech has to quit, and Tech takes it, in stride, and he doesn't really try to make her feel too bad about it. He says he's disappointed, and if Nehemiah wins, he gonna buy 100,000 from him. They don't advance to phase 2, and they end up going home. Right? The teams that advance to phase 2 are Darrell and Janelle, Nehemiah and Melinda, and MJ and Jonna at this point. Right? So y'all, they advance to phase 2. Y'all, the next phase 2, y'all, which is like my worst fear. Like, if I was ever had the opportunity to do the challenge, this would be like eating challenges. I'm sorry. I don't mind eating challenges where you just have to eat a lot. Like, I feel like I could get through that. But eating challenges, even though I don't know, I can't eat too much too fast. Like, I tend to throw up or whatever. Like, I would just deal with it. But eating challenges where you have to eat disgusting stuff and drink blood, like, I don't understand. Like, whose blood is this, first of all? Like, is this sanitary? It's not. Like, I feel as though they be trying to kill these people. Like, so basically the next phase, y'all, is an eating challenge, but it's like they are in Mexico. So it's like Mexican dishes, but with a disgusting twist. So it's like tostadas it's like a trepid burrito. It is like just very disgusting, and also blood to wash it. Like I'm disgusted even talking about it. So that would be the only, like, I really do understand people who can't make it, even though I'm still annoyed that Jay cost Jenna that final that time when he didn't want to drink that stuff. But also it looked very disgusting. Like, oh my god, I can still see it. Disgusting. And I was eating, right? So anyway, y'all, I say all that to say, so they're getting through it. They're eating. Y'all, MJ is puking next to Jonna. Jonna is disgusted. She's not really even throwing up because of what she's eating. She's throwing up because he keeps throwing up. Like, he is throwing the stuff up. Nehemiah, like, I don't eat this bullshit. Like, that's my biggest fear. And I'm like, I feel you, my bro. Yuck, disgust, filth. Okay. Melinda eating it. Nehemiah over there taking his sweet ass time. I mean, he's going, he's eating, but he's like the slower one of the two. Like I said, MJ is puking his guts out. Darrell and Janelle are pretty much like, Darrell is like, I'm hungry. I was hungry. He like, I'm just gonna eat because I'm just gonna not pay attention to whatever crunching up in here. I'm hungry. I'm eating, right? So y'all, they eating. All right, so Darrell and Janelle are the ones that finish first, and then they start racing over to the next stage, right? So basically the next step of phase 2 after you finish eating is you have to figure out this algebraic trigonometry whatever equation. But the way the equation is that they've replaced some numbers with symbols. So there's like a star, and there's like a dress, and there's like, just weird stuff that is supposed to represent a number that you can use in order to figure out this equation. And once you figure out that equation, you need to take that number and run down to a safe, open up the safe with the number, and then once you open up the safe, your $500,000 in there, you got to put it in the bag, carry your $500,000 and run off to a plane with TJ in it, and whoever does that first wins the final, right? Y'all, so they basically all finish around the same time. MJ and Jonna finish next, and then Nehemiah and Melinda finally finish, and they get over to the algebraic equation, right? There's 3 different ones, so you have to pick which one that you want to do. So they pick, MJ and Jonna pick the middle one. So they're basically trying to figure out, Darrell is like, girl, I don't do algebraic equations. I don't know about this trigonometry. Janelle, you got it, right? So Janelle got to figure it out. And then MJ and Jonna are kind of trying to work together to figure it out. Y'all, Nehemiah and Melinda trying to work together to figure it out. So they finally figure out their equation, so they think, right? And so at this point, the distance that it takes to get to the safe is like a distance. So if you had to go back, like it would be basically impossible for you to win. So they have to like do this long ass run over to the safe, right? So y'all, then the dilemma with the safe is, y'all, these people don't want to read instructions. They don't want to read instructions, okay? Remember your locker in school? That is basically what it is. It's like the turn to the right, you got to turn it 3 times, skip it and all that, right? So they don't read the instructions, so they're all opening it however they think you're supposed to open it, and it doesn't open, even if they have the correct equation, right? They go back and forth. Y'all, MJ and Jonna is like, let me read the damn instructions, right? So they read the instructions, and they finally figure it out, y'all, and MJ and Jonna get the safe open, and Janelle immediately is like, oh, congrats, you guys, congratulations. And I'm like, oh. So MJ and Jonna get the money, they put it in the bag, and they run all the way down to the plane with TJ in it, and they win the final of All-Star Season 2. And honestly, like, MJ has been a champion before, right? And MJ's great and he's awesome and he's a really cool guy, and I always love MJ, right? And it was great to see him again. But Jonna, like, girl, like, I'm so happy for her because I always liked her, you know, like, representation, and just she was just always seemed like a really nice, sweet, kind, genuine girl. You know, I like those kind of people. Hashtag shout out to Big T, shout out to Amber, shout out to you know, just the wonderful of the challenge that I love, right? So, but like, I felt like she didn't ever really get to reach her full potential. She got a lame ass partner in Zach. Even when she dated, like, I just feel like she didn't really reach her full potential. And so, and that's why I hadn't put her on the list, because I'm like, she didn't really stand out as a competitor, and I wanted to put people on my favorite Black challengers list that were not just like, you know, staple people on the show or people that made an impact, but also really great challengers. And now, like, and I told y'all I was gonna make another list of honorable mentions and just people in general and women and the whole thing. And I'm just really proud of her. Like, she made it to the final last season, right? And this season, and I love that all the women, except for like a couple of them who are like, you know, look the same way that they look, and they're gorgeous, obviously, but they look like real mom. Like, I'm a mom, right? Like, and like, I just know what that does to your body and the changes and getting older and whatever. So it's not like they look like they've lived in the gym. They're like regular shaped, strong, powerful, amazing women who came back and dominated and won, baby. Like, Jonna is really that girl. Like, she's really that girl. You won. Her social game is like amazing. It's top notch. It's unmatched. Because she's just like a genuine nice person, and she doesn't snake people for no reason. And yeah, so I'm so happy for her. Yeah, so guys, that is basically the episode. That is who won. Leave your comments down below. Did y'all think that Jonna was gonna win? Who did y'all think was gonna win? How do y'all feel about Ayanna talking all that mess and then quitting? Like, girl, anyway, I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, it's very frustrating. How do y'all feel about how she plays in general? Do you feel like it is what it is? Like, you gotta do what you gotta do? You know, just let me know. How do y'all feel about the soundtrack and just generally about All Stars? Like, I really enjoyed watching it. Like, I had a blast. Yes, I was like nervous. Yes, I was like, oh Lord, but it was just like fun to watch. Like, it was entertaining. Like, oh my God, it was great. It was great. And I kind of low-key feel like they're setting up a few more seasons so that we can get the verses, like the face off that we've wanted with like the new people and the real OGs and the real champs that we know. You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at that at all. So guys, go ahead and leave your comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Also hit the post notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop that next video. Bye!